All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Utopia 1951. Giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I dislike this one. This is going to be another Laurel and Hardy flick. It's about the same as The Flying Deuces. I got a few chuckles out of it, but for the most part, it was kind of I'm not a big Laurel and Hardy fan. I think Professor Quiz likes W.C. Fields or something. Anyways, I'm more of a Three Stooges guy. Atoll K is a 1951 Franco-Italian co-production film, also known as Robinson Crusoe Land in the United Kingdom and Utopia in the United States. It's called Atoll K on Wikipedia, which starred the comedy duo Laurel and Hardy in their final screen appearance. The film co-stars French singer-actress Suzy Delaire and was directed by Leo Joannan with uncredited co-direction by blacklisted U.S. director John Barry. The French poster says Atoll K. Le Grand Film François. That's what it says on the French poster. Stan learns that he has to receive an inheritance left by a wealthy uncle. Unfortunately, most of the inheritance is consumed by taxes and legal fees, and he is left with only a rickety but fully provisioned yacht at a private island in the Pacific Ocean. Stan and Ollie leave for the island, accompanied by stateless refugee Antoine, Max Alloy, and stowaway Giovanni Copini, a malcontent Italian bricklayer, Adriano Romoldi. On the voyage, the friendly Antoine acts as chef, but the food mysteriously disappears from Stan's plate because stowaway Giovanni is taking it. This leads Stan to blame Ollie, and an argument ensues. The engine then fails. It's revealed in the beginning that the problem is merely a fuel leak due to the caps coming loose, but the boys don't know this yet. So Ollie removes parts in an attempt to fix it. He hands them to Stan, who puts them on the deck where they slide overboard. Ollie then realizes that his efforts were in vain when he notices that the fuel gauge reads empty. Having lost the engine, they hoist the sail, realizing Giovanni hiding in it. They encounter a storm, and Stan battles with an inflating life raft in the cabin while Ollie is at the helm. They are shipwrecked on a newly emerged desert island, which they dub Crusoe Land after the book Robinson Crusoe that is on their yacht. They are soon joined by Cherie Lamour, a nightclub singer, Suzy Delaire, who is fleeing her jealous fiancé, Jack Fraser, a naval lieutenant, Luigi Tosi. In order to prevent the island from falling into the hands of an existing nation state, it is established as a new republic. They should have established it as a ANCAP island instead. But the island has no taxes and no laws for a while until Ollie spoils it all when he wants to kick out some dude. Hardy is president and Laurel is the people. They write a constitution declaring their atoll will have no laws, no taxes, and no immigration controls. Sounds like a libertarian paradise. But all goes well until the singer's fiance arrives to confirm that the island is rich with uranium deposits. People from all over the world flock to Atoll K, as it has been named, but soon the situation turns chaotic when a revolt seeks to overthrow and execute the island's original inhabitants. So the citizens are mad that Ollie has decided to impose taxes after they didn't pay any taxes. I'd be mad too. I'd want to hang him too. But they're supposed to be the bad guys because they're hitting on the French singer. Before the execution, another storm strikes and floods the island. Laurel and Hardy are rescued, and they arrive at the island Laurel inherited, only to have their land and supplies confiscated for failure to pay taxes. So I like the anti-tax message that and the libertarian theme throughout much of the movie. Unfortunately, Ollie spoiled it, though. And I like the whole Robert Robinson Crusoe notion, but like I said, I'm not a big Laurel and Hardy fan. So that's why I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't get too many laughs from the comedy. Maybe 3? Anyways, in the late 1940s, Laurel and Hardy were without film employment. Earlier in the decade, they ended their long association with producer Hal Roach, and they signed to make a series of films at both 20th Century Fox and MGM. In post-World War II Europe, Laurel and Hardy were enjoying a new popularity with audiences that had been unable to see their movies during wartime. As a result of this, the pair received an offer from a French-Italian cinematic consortium to star in a film to be produced in France for $1.5 million, a large budget for the era. The production of Utopia was plagued with many problems that caused the making of the film to run 9 months beyond its projected schedule of 12 weeks. Ida Laurel, Stan Laurel's widow, told biographer John McCabe, "I'm hardly likely to forget the date we left for France and the date we returned, April 1st, 1950 and April 1st, 1951. But there was no April fooling about that terrible year. That bloody picture was supposed to take 12 weeks to make, and it took 12 months. From the beginning, there were disagreements on the film's screenplay. Laurel was unhappy with the storyline envisioned by French director Leo Johannin, and he insisted on bringing Alfred Golding and Monty Collins to aid in writing the screenplay. Alf Golding received no on-screen credit, and Monty Collins was credited with gags. There were also considerable problems with communications, since neither Laurel nor Hardy spoke any French, and director Johannin spoke very little English. During the production, the two comedy stars were battling serious health issues. Laurel's pre-existing diabetes was aggravated and developed colitis, dysentery, and a prostate ulcer while on the French locations for the film. Good thing he wasn't around during the COVID hysteria. He would have ended up in the hospital. He eventually required hospitalization. Oh, he did go to hospital. Never mind. And his widow would later fault the quality of French medical care, claiming that at one point she had to substitute for an absent nurse by changing her husband's bandages. Laurel's weight dropped to 114 pounds. And for most of the production, he was able to work for only 20 to 30 minutes at a time. While in France, Hardy saw his already hefty frame expand to 330 pounds, and he required medical care for an irregular heartbeat and a severe case of the flu. Oh, instead of COVID, it was the flu. My coworker got sick with the flu. They thought he had COVID, but he tested negative. So now they're telling me that I have to use hand sanitizer, wash my hands constantly. We're back in the germaphobe season. Anyways, adding to the medical problems was Italian director Adriano Romoldi, who played the stowaway when he fell from a docked yacht, and he required a month to recuperate away from the production. When they were able to work, Laurel and Hardy saw their relationship with Johannin deteriorate rapidly. Ida Laurel would later claim Joannan was an incompetent director who spent 3 days filming a lake because, as she said, it was the most photogenic lake he'd ever seen. Sounds like a lazy French dude. In the middle of the production, U.S. film director John Barry was quietly brought in to work with the team. Barry's U.S. career had been derailed by the Hollywood blacklist. Oh, another communist they hired in the early 50s. Okay, and he sought to start over in France. However, his participation was kept secret out of the fear that the film would not get a U.S. theatrical release if it became known that a blacklisted director was at its helm. Barry's contribution was not publicly acknowledged until 1967, during the age of Aquarius, when film historian William K. Everson cited the uncredited director's input in his book, The Films of Laurel and Hardy. While Barry never publicly acknowledged his work on Atoll K, the film's leading lady, Susie Dallaire, confirmed his role during an interview with historian Norbert Apping. The theatrical release of Atoll K was confusing and erratic. There was never one definitive version of the film, but rather 4 different edits available. The 93-minute French version, the one I got is 81 minutes, called Atoll K, a 97-minute Italian version called Atoll K, an 82-minute English version called Robinson Crusoe Land in the United Kingdom and Utopia in the United States. That's the version I saw. And a 98-minute English version, again titled Atoll K, viewed only on British premieres in September 1951. In the countries where the various versions played, critical reaction to the film was overwhelmingly poor. So I'm not the only one who dislikes this. The French newspaper Journal du Dimanche complained, "What in the hell lured Laurel and Hardy into this atoll? Unfortunately, this adventure adds nothing to their fame." Italian critic Paolo Lacori, writing for the magazine Hollywood, stated, "Stan and Ollie's presence is not enough to lift the movie from its mediocrity." I have to agree. The editing is sloppy and the gags are lame. The British Kinematograph Weekly stated the film was bogged down in a welter of obvious slapstick. Yeah, they try to be like Three Stooges, but there are no funny noises to go with the slaps and the ripping of the hair. When, well, it's not that extreme anyway, but I'm just using an analogy. When Utopia ultimately played in Los Angeles in early 1955 as a double feature with Blackboard Jungle, a movie that I have seen, the Los Angeles Times critic said the film gets off with some welcome chuckles, but grows progressively worse. I tend to agree with that. Over the years, the prints of three of the 4 versions have degraded. No U.S. copyright was filed for Utopia, and the version lapsed into public domain, resulting in duplicate prints of poor quality. How Roach Studios. Used for distribution. Until recently, the only known print of the original 98-minute English version was private hands, and this version has never been released on video. However, on January 1st, 2012, the French-German TV Arte aired a restored 100-minute English version of the film, claiming an international television premiere. The restored copy is based on a copy rediscovered in 2010 in the United States. It was released to DVD by Fun Factory Films on January 3rd, 2013. Truncated 85/88-minute prints available in Italy on VHS and DVD are all that remain of the Italian version. The original Atoll K was released on VHS in 1996 on October 10th, 2012. The French version of the film was released by Gaumont a la Demand on DVD. In 2018, a Blu-ray version of Utopia was released in the UK, region B only. The film has also been televised in the US under the Utopia title by the Movies Network as part of its Saturday morning Laurel and Hardy show series. All right. Yeah, his hair is sticking out and he's got bags underneath his eyes. He looks like he's about ready to die, Stan Laurel. Anyways. Jeff Joffe is in the chat room. I'll tell you what's coming down the pike, but first, before I do that, let me show you these discs. Here's the Utopia disc, Laurel and Hardy collection, volume 1. There it is right there. Here's Curse of the Cannibal Confederates. This is another Adrian mention. This is what I'm watching next, and we're not going to Latin Mass because my son changed his mind again. He was going to sit up front, shotgun, but then he changed his mind. Then he said he was going to Latin Mass. Then he changed his mind again. All right. So there's a problem with the French Connection disc, whatever disc they keep sending me, or discs plural, doesn't play in my portable DVD player, but I am able to play Laurel and Hardy Utopia, even though it has a scratch in it. So I requested another disc. If it comes back unplayable again a third time, then I'm just going to put it on the bottom of my queue in hopes that they send me a disc that I can play on my DVD player. So I'm going to get the third disc that probably won't play, and then I'll have to send it back. Then there's Hitchhike, 1978. Another Adrian mention. Waterloo Bridge, 1940. That's that's what I got coming down the pike for next week. Now let's go down my list, shall we? All right, got an early start on this movie reviews. I'll probably do 3 today because the first one on my list is Let's Make a Deal, which is like 125 hours long, over 100 hours long. So I'm going to be stuck in that over Christmas, Christmas weekend. All right. So number 1 on the list is You Bet Your Life, but it's 125 episodes, and each episode is like 54 minutes. And then there's Identity Unknown, 1945, Chained for Life, 1952, Untamed Woman, 1952, Texas, Brooklyn in Heaven, 1948, Beast from Haunted Cave, 1959, Moon of the Wolf, 1972, Hurricane Smith, 1992, Showdown, 1993, Best of the Best 2, TNT, 1997, My Dear Secretary, 1948, The Mystery Man, 1935, Bride of the Gorilla, 1951, Letter of Introduction, 1938, Dick Tracy versus the Mole, Season 1, Episodes 9 through 12, Devil's Island, 1939, Angel Town, 1990, Mercenary, 1996. Night Fright, 1967. DEFCON 4, 1985. Santa Fe Trail, 1940. Renegade Girl, 1946. Passport for a Corpse, 1962. Black Dragons, 1942. Cyborg Cop 2. Drums of the Desert, 1940. Shock, 1946. It Lives by Night. Trail to Tombstone, 1950. Deputy Marshal, 1949. Broadway Limited, 1941. Black Dragons, 1942. The Strange Woman, 1946. The Fighter, 1952. Bamboo Gods and Iron Men, 1974. Zero Tolerance. Ulterior Motives, 1992. The Big Chance, 1933. I'll See You in Hell, 1960. The Case of the... Oh, I'm sorry. Three Desperate Men, 1951. The Star Packer, 1934. The Devil's Hand, 1961. My Outlaw Brother, 1951. Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Talons of the Eagle. Riders of the Whistling Pines, 1949. Portraits of Terror, The Final Curtain. Safe and Effective, A Second Opinion, 2022. Malibu Crush, 2022. Dead Tides, 1996. Easy Money, 1936. Swing High, Swing Low, 1937. An Eye for an Eye. The Giant Gila Monster, 1959. Shadows on the Stairs, 1941. The Bigamist, 1953. The Unholy Four, 1954. Triple Cross, 1966. Hold Me While I'm Naked, 1966. Head, 1968. 1990, The Bronx Warriors, 1982. 1990, The Bronx Warriors, 1982. That's a tongue twister. Exterminators of the Year 3000, 1983. Platoon Leader. Penny Serenade, 1941. Creature from the Haunted Sea. Oh, I forgot. Return to Batcave, The Adventures of Adam and Bert. Creature from the Haunted Sea, 1961. War of the Satellites, 1958. The Black Raven, 1943. He Walked by Night, 1948. They Were So Young, 1954. Whatever It Takes, 1998. One Dark Night, 1982. Cipher Bureau, 1938. Sinners in Paradise, 1938. What Price Crime, 1935. Maytime in Mayfair, 1949. He Walked by Night, 1948. The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, 1946. The Wrong Road, 1937. Tarzan the Fearless, 1933. Monstrosity, 1963. Diamond Trail, 1933. Sinful Cargo, 1936. Youth on Parole, 1937. I'll Name the Murderer, 1936. The Chase, 1946. Impact, 1948. A Stranger in Town, 1943. Half a Sinner, 1940. The Devil's Hand, 1961. Captured in Chinatown, 1935. Rimfire, 1949. Deputy Marshal, 1949. Tales of Robin Hood, 1951. The Magic Sword, 1962. Bandit Queen, 1950. Crooked River, 1950. Marshal of El Dorado, 1950. Colorado Ranger, 1950. Wild Weed, 1949. Strangers of the Evening, 1932. Devil's Partner, 1961. Fist of Glory, 1991. This one is, I forgot to mention a couple. Believe it or not. This list is wild. It's big. Yeah, I'll watch anything prior to 1995. But, Renegade TV show. And then there's the real Anthony Fauci. 2022. Those are the two that I forgot to mention. I only have a few 2022. The Real Anthony Fauci, Safe and Effective, and Malibu Crush. I think those are the only three recent ones out of like 50 that I have on my list. All right. Well, I'm up over 25 minutes on my first review. I'll check out Curse of the Cannibal Confederates. The Adrian mentioned later.